for joining us today. This is Lynn in Illinois, and we are moving right into the next step of starting your business, which is really the first step, and that is connecting with other people to share our message. Now, basically what we use is Tom Challen's training of the three-step map, but really simplifies it. And those 3 steps to be successful and to have everything that you want and need in your life is to connect, to share, and to start. So we're going to dig into the connection part just a little bit more and talk about what that means. Now, Tom was raised up by the very same home business coach as I was, and that was Danny Johnson. And she has a couple of pieces inside the connection part that are really powerful. So we're going to go over what they are. So first thing that we want to do, the only way that we're going to be successful is if we get people to go to our message, right? So how do we do that? There's a couple of different ways that we can do that. And the simplest way is to make a connection is to take an interest in somebody else. So you might be thinking, I don't know what to say. I don't even know how to connect with anyone. I don't know. I get in front of somebody and my mind blanks. So Danny Johnson shared with us an acronym. So please write this acronym down. The acronym is FORM. So it's the letters F-O-R-M. It's FORM. And you can use this method of communication anywhere in your life. It's not some kind of silver bullet just for your business to get your business exploding. It's a silver bullet to get your connections with other human beings going. So when you look at that acronym of FORM, there's 4 different letters, right? The first one stands for family. The second one stands for occupation, and the third one stands for recreation. Now the M, what is the M? Well, the M kind of stands on its own. The M is your message. Now, so you can see how this plays beautifully into the 3-step map. The F-O-R is the connection part. People love to talk about themselves. But if we're always sharing about us because we can't think of anything to talk about to anybody else, we can't think of the ways to draw people out and get them to talking about themselves, then we end up with a really one-sided conversation. We might have thought the conversation was awesome because, heck, we got to talk about ourselves. But the key is, we talked about this before, keep the spotlight on them. So if you're at a loss for something to talk about with somebody, anybody, then the easiest thing to do is reach into your bag of tricks and pull out FORM. So family, you could ask them questions like, so are you married? Oh, really? How long have you guys been married? And then wherever that conversation takes you, let it go there organically. It's not about staying on script. I used to, and I was making a confession earlier to Karen about how I was so strategic about staying on the script that I was missing a big part of connection with people. And so you can go get scripts from any guru out there, right? But the main thing is to take those scripts and make them part of who you are, so that even if you don't have a script book in front of you, you'll be able to relate to your hairdresser, the mailman, anybody. You can make connections with human beings. And the more that the better that you get with making connections with human beings, the more natural the success in your business is going to come. So you talk to them, oh, you've been married? Oh, you've been married for 50 years? Oh my gosh, what's the big secret? So a couple of key words that I have learned when we're doing at any part of the FORM process is, tell me more about that, or what's it like to? So if somebody says to you, oh, I've been married for 28 years, wow, 28 years? So tell me, what's it like to be married and wake it up next to the same person for 25 years, or however many they just said, right? What's it like to have 2 twins and a 1-year-old or 2-year-old, and what's Emily now? What's it like to be a mom of twins with a new baby? What was that like, right? So whatever they tell you, what's it like that, right? And let them tell you, open them up. Anything that you can think about their family. So it's really natural to talk about people's family. And it's not weird to ask people if they're married. It's questions that you're going to ask and get to know people with are only weird if you make them weird. But if you are genuinely interested in the other human being, there's no weird questions. Well, there are some weird questions, but you're not going to ask those weird questions, right? But asking people genuine questions to get to know them is never weird, because you're asking from a place that you really want to get to know someone. Okay, so we've got F covered, right? Family. So that could be anything. That could be their mom, their dad, their uncle, their dogs. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are dog people or cat people. Have you ever got a dog person talking about their dog? Well, you know, that just brings joy to their life. And if we're allowing people to forget about all the problems in their world and talk to you about what brings them joy, of course they're going to like you, right? Because you made them feel good. You made them think about what makes them happy, and you gave them the opportunity to talk about it, and you listened. So when we're going through this process, here's a big key too. If they tell you, hey, I've got twins and a 1-year-old, it's not an opportunity, because it'd be really weird, because if you have twins and a 1-year-old, right? I mean, that's a pretty big deal. That's a pretty big connection. But even if you say, oh my goodness, I've got twins and a 1-year-old too, quickly, you could make that connection, but quickly turn that spotlight back on them. So it's kind of cool that you have that connection, but they're not ready to quit talking about their twins and 1-year-old, right? They still want to talk about theirs. And if you start talking about yours and all the fun times or all the struggles or whatever, all of a sudden they're bored again. They want to talk about their twins and 1-year-old, okay? So even if it's something that's really unusual, yes, you can make quick reference to it, but you got to remember, got to get that spotlight back on them as quickly as possible. So I know what it was like for me. What's it like for you to have twins and a 1-year-old? And let them take the conversation back. And if they ask you a question, answer it, but answer it with 1 or 2 words, not being evasive, but genuinely caring to get that spotlight back in them, right? So now we're on O. What is O on form? Occupation. Occupation is whatever occupies their time. So that could be a career, it could be a job, it could be a homeschooling mom. That's her occupation. That is what's occupying her time. Wow. So you're a mom of twins with a 1-year-old and you homeschool. What's that like? So tell me more about that. What feels more natural to me is kind of saying, what's that like? I used to try to say, tell me more about that. It didn't feel as natural to me. So there's going to be different sayings that are going to fit more with your personality and things that fit more closely related to just the way that you talk. But the thing is that when you're first starting to talk and get to know people, there's going to be a lot of things that aren't going to feel natural. So stick with it for a while and keep trying it out and keep trying to focus that spotlight, keep trying to dig out more information from people. Occupation. So now here's a really big thing on occupation. There's 2 big questions that you're going to want to ask in this part of form to strategically get to know someone. All right, are you ready for this? Get your pen and paper out. You're going to want to ask them, what do you do for a living? Okay, a lot of people have jobs, right, or whatever. So this will pertain to jobs or careers a lot, but it can also pertain to homeschooling mom or whatever. What do you do? Really? How long have you been doing that? Now here's the 2 questions. What do you like best about it? And let them tell you. Because when they tell you what they like best about it, they're telling you their strengths. You know what? There's things that we have to do at work that we don't like. And if you think about why you don't like it, it's because you stink at it, right? What don't I like about, okay, I'm looking at my office right now. I'm kind of half packed. I've got some notes around. I've got a desk that looks very blue personality. So what don't I like about my, what I need to do for my work is keep my paperwork organized. Big clue as to my personality, right? I'm not an organized person by nature, but I'm going to tell you my strengths. Lynn, what do you do for a living? Oh my goodness, I help people go on vacation for a living. That gives you an insight into my mind, what makes me click. Now here's the other side, the flip side of that very same question, which is really important, is what do you dislike? What is the thing that you don't like the most out of what you do? And now you've got somebody's weakness. We always want to focus on somebody's strengths though. So as we're getting to know someone, when we're going through this process of forming, family is kind of the thing that makes them happy. Talking about their dog or their cat, or talking about, you know, anybody in their family, their children or whatever, that's going to make them happy. That's going to make them trust you and feel good about talking with you, right? When you get into occupation, this is where we're looking for something specific. Now, here's another acronym I want you to write down. This acronym is SIGN, S-I-G-N. Now, when you're going through the whole form process, you're going to keep your eye on their sign. And their sign, the acronym stands for strengths, interests, needs, and goals. So as you're going through the form process, you're going to be trying to be like a Columbo, trying to be a detective to figure out their sign so that you can reach that M part of the form process successfully. So they actually go to your message, right? Go to your website, go to your webinar, go to your home party, your hotel party, or whatever you're looking at. But you're not going to get them there unless you make that connection. So what are we at right now? We've got family, occupation. So somebody that says, oh, what I love about my job, I get to talk to people all the time. It's so awesome. Things are never the same, and there's always new people coming and going, and it's just really exciting. Sorry. And it's really exciting. So what you could do is when you're sending them to your message, you're going to use that to entice them to go get the message. So, okay, so we're at sign. So when you're going to use their sign to direct them to their message, right? And so you're constantly digging to learn more about them with that end goal in mind. So the balancing act comes between being a detective to learn this information, but being genuine and really being involved in the conversation. So coming from a place of somebody that used to talk a lot, my end game in any conversation was, are they going to quit talking so I can say something? Oh, I'll just let them finish this thought. And that was if I was lucky, if they were lucky enough for me to let them finish a thought, right? Because I was just like all about keeping the conversation going and talking and talking and talking, but not really keeping the conversation going. I was interested in talking. So the key then became to listen to them talk. And then I had to walk this fine line on how to do that genuinely without ulterior motive and without it appearing like there's ulterior motive. So you're going to get really good at it if you just keep moving forward. So now we're at occupation. What do you like most about it? They're going to tell you their strengths. They're also going to tell you their interests. If somebody tells you, I love it when there's lots of different things going on, I get all of these things going on, and I just, so if somebody tells you, I get so excited because there's always new people walking in and always new people to talk with, I know their strength probably lies in connecting with people. Right? They like to be around people. Now, if I get an analytical personality and I say, what do you like best about what you do? I really like the fact that they give me this information and I put it in the spreadsheet, and when I'm done with it, it looks so organized and it looks so beautiful, and I give it back to the people in charge and their life is made easier. So there's a couple of different things I can pick out from those strengths about this person's innate personality. And the first one is they have great organizational skills and they're analytical. But that second piece is, and I give it back to the people in charge and it makes their life easier. They have a heart for people. So they're more over like on the yellow side, if we're talking about colors. And we're going to get into personalities at different days. I don't want to confuse the issue, but I want to tell you, if you get really good at doing the form and looking for signs, you're going to get great insight really quickly. Like in an elevator speech time frame, you're going to be able to figure out what makes people tick. So I challenge you, now that you've got a little insight into this, is to use this in everyday life, not trying to send anybody to a message, but just trying it out. The cashier at the grocery store, when you go there, probably most grocery stores, you don't even use cashiers anymore, but the next person that you talk to, you know, my daughters are so amazing at this. They'll say like, so they're cutting their hair, you know, their hairdressers are cutting their hair. How long have you worked here? And they'll say, and my daughters are like, oh, wow, so what do you like best about cutting people's hair? And then they talk, and my kids just get really good at drawing information out of people. And so practice it. So now we've got family, which makes people happy and connect with you, right? Occupation, you can start looking for their signs. And the next part of it is recreation. This is where you could really delve into somebody's personality. So what do you do for fun, right? Well, not a lot lately. You know, things have been kind of tight, blah, blah, blah. They're telling you more about themselves, right? What do you do for fun? We love to go on vacation. We go on vacation as often as we can. It hasn't been as much as we'd like to, but what do you do for fun? What's something that I don't even know what an analytical does for fun. I'm sure they have fun, but I don't know what it is. But anyway, again, you're making connections with them. You're looking for just who they are, right? So that form, the FOR, gives you something to talk about. Now you have no excuse. You don't need some magic script book. You don't need Tom's 3-step map or every word that's in Danny's script book or whatever. You just need to have a genuine connection with people. So if you're sitting there and you're one that's not one for talking, maybe you're that analytical type. Maybe you're that one that really just hasn't had a lot of use for people. They kind of confuse the issue. The more cooks in the kitchen, it's like, go, let me get this done. I'll get it done. I'll get this taken care of, and then I'll give it to you, right? It's like, we got no need for a lot of people. Or maybe people just kind of make you nervous. And we need all personalities in the world, first of all. So I am so grateful for the analyticals in my life. My oldest daughter is an incredible organizer, an incredible analytical, and she just makes our household run so smoothly. And I know I bring so much chaos to her life, but we need to lighten up every now and then, right? And my husband has such a heart to serve, so he kind of brings in that part. And then my youngest, she's probably upside down at any given moment doing cartwheels or whatever, but you know, we need all of it to work together. So for those of you that are analytical, sometimes being around people with a lot of energy can be a little bit more difficult for you because you're trying to talk. Maybe they're always interrupting you, right? And you've got something to say and they're not listening. But if you use these strategies on how to talk to people, you can gear that conversation to make it more efficient for you to get the information that you're looking for. What's going to motivate this person? Okay, now I told you that our goal for using the form was to get people to the message. So when you're talking with people on the phone, if you're doing warm market, even if you're doing warm market that you think you know inside out, I challenge you to ask them some of these questions. Now, you might know that your best friend has worked at ABC Corporation for 15 years. So one thing you know about her, she's got a great work ethic. And you might have heard some crazy colleague stories, but you might not know what she likes best about it. You're going to see strengths and hear strengths in your best friend that you didn't know that she really had because you see her in one compartment of your life. I challenge you to go ask your husband or your wife, honey, you've worked there a long time. What do you like best about it? And you're going to look at your husband or your wife with new eyes because you're going to learn something about the things that make them happy, because you know what makes us happy are the things that we're good at. Now, you might have heard your best friend or your husband or your wife tell you things that work, but maybe you've never put it together to learn and really pay attention to what makes them tick. You know that they're awesome at some part of their job, but maybe that's not even the part that makes them happy. So you could be assuming something about people. Now, those are people that you're with all the time, your best friend or your husband, your spouse. Take that just right outside your tiny little inner circle into somebody that you think you know, and ask them these questions. Get to know people. Now that you are, you've written down the things that make them go, right? Their strengths and their interests, and now you're going into their needs and their goals. If they're telling you what they don't like about it, maybe they'll tell you, I love my job, I just don't make enough money. Really? So what do you mean? What's that like? What, you need to work more hours? What are you talking about? Well, I'm a teacher. It's fantastic. I've been doing it for a lot of years, but we don't get paid all that much money. Okay. So now maybe one of their needs is they need a little bit more money. So you just kind of delve into it a little bit more, and we'll get into that. But what we're looking for is a way to send them to your message. Now, this is what we talked about last week. We talked about edification a little bit, right? And we talked about what edification means when you're talking about people. But edification can be used anytime, and a beautiful place to use edification is when you're sending people to your message. And in our case, our message is our on-demand video webinars that come through our marketing funnels, or there are live retail, or there's any business opportunity webinars, or any business opportunity or retail parties, or any hotel meetings. That's our message, right? Because we're not salespeople. We're not trying to deliver the message. We're trying to get people to our message. So how are we going to get them to do that? Okay, so let's say I've talked to somebody named Lynn. Let's say, what does Lynn do? And let's talk about what Lynn did before she did a home business, okay? So Lynn, what do you do? Well, I'm a real estate agent. Really? What do you like best about that? Well, I love that everything is different. I don't have any real time sets. I get to just go see different houses, and I'm always doing something different. I get to hang out with the most amazing people because I don't have to have a client if I don't really like them. Like, I could never, that show, The Office, where you had to work like next to somebody like Dwight, I could never do that. I've never had a job in my life. The longest job I ever had in my life, I worked for like 3 months. And the only reason I lasted for 3 months is because my dad got me the job, and I knew it was an internship. It wasn't even really a job. And I knew that I could just do my sentence. Basically, a job for me was a sentence. And so, okay, so I would then say, get to know her a little bit more, and then I would say, Lynn, so your next step when you get to, when you're trying to send them to the presentation is go to this website. Now write this down, go to www, whatever. Now this is where you're going to get all the information that you need so that you can find a way to be able to do something different every day, that you're going to be able to talk to different people and laugh and have fun. You're going to be able to travel and just have so much variety in your life and whatever. So I picked one little thing out that this Lynn girl likes, and then I tell her that she's going to find that stuff in that presentation. Now let's say Lynn is the opposite side of the aisle, and Lynn is very organized, and I am a data entry person. So my hair looks very data entry, doesn't it? I'm a very data entry person, and the thing that I like best is that there's a system for what I need to do every day. I walk in, I do my job, and I get it done, and I have a sense of success, and then I come home. And I say, first I'm going to change my tone to talk to that person. I'm not going to be all laughing and having fun like you that are on this call with me right now. We laughed, and we had a lot of fun, and we were really goofy getting into this business, right? Because I kind of recruited my personality. So now let's say I'm trying to recruit across the aisle. So I would say, wow, Lynn, that's awesome. Okay, so your next step is to go to the website. You're going to go to www. And when you get there, you're going to see that there's an amazing system that has been put in place that makes this process very simple and organized. You're going to be able, I know you're working your full-time job, so you've got limited hours. So we want to make sure that you can plug into this system and be able to make the most efficient use of your time so that you can go ahead and create that extra income that you're looking to make to be able to put your daughters through Harvard. You said, you mentioned that they're both on track to go to Harvard, and it's very important to you that they're able to be at that school to get the education that they're looking for to reach their goals. And so once you go through there, just make sure you take really good notes and write down any questions that you have so that when we talk again, we can begin to cover those questions and just see if it's a match so that we can talk about what the next steps might be. Does that make sense for you? Great. So you see how if I'm doing form properly and I'm getting to make the connection with the family part and the things that touch people's heart, what the F is, again, it's not about having kids or being married or, people could have totally dysfunctional families, but they've got great, like amazing connections with their dogs or whatever. But when we talk about family, what family is representing in this case is love and the things that makes them feel happy talking about. So if you could open them up and talk about the things that make them happy, you're going to make a connection faster. Then you're going into O, occupation, so that you can learn their sign. Remember their strengths, their interests, their goals, and their needs. And so that you can then use those to help them find that in this business. And I promise you this business that we have here is good for every personality. First of all, obviously it's good for people that like to have fun and variety. It's also good for the people that like a challenge, because people that like challenges and like to have the best of everything, there is no business model out there that has a higher profit margin than ours, right? For people that want to help others, I think about right now we're going through some destructive stuff, some hurricanes and this and that. We're able to put people in shelter at a price that we can easily do that. Instead of sending $200 or $300 to some organization where it may or may not touch the people, what if you could help one family with a condo to get out of some place of devastation, right? I can give. So there's that personality. And then of course we have an amazing system so that you're not fumbling around trying to figure it all out. There's a process that limits the amount of interaction that I have to have with every other person that I bring along, but I'm guaranteed that, or not guaranteed because they're never guaranteed, but I'm assured that if I plug them into the system, their success, they'll be able to have it. Right? So all across the board on personalities and all across the board on people's things that they're looking for in life can be satisfied with this amazing business that we have at Platinum Factory Systems, with the system itself and with the profit margins and everything that Coastal Vacations brings to the table. So that was just a quick thought today on getting you started. Now the thing is go make those connections. Go start trying to send those people to the message, to your presentation, and keep notes. Really, really keep track of what part of the process, how many people did you talk to that you tried to make a connection with, and how many people actually went to the message, and then how many people, did you get through the follow-up with, and how many people did you get started? Because on the follow-up call, that's just where we do the start process. We start them on the next step, right? So we've got connect, share, and start. And if you keep your numbers really good, then, and you consistently work it a little bit around the time that you have available, then your mentor and the system will help you figure out where you need help to have the most effect on your business and your bottom line. So that's it for today, and we'll look forward to talking with you on the next training.